Hello guys, and I just love this new Moscow Times headline, which states the Central Bank of the Russian Federation has just discovered a time bomb. They lack 10 trillion rubles. 10 trillion rubles in loans, which Russian companies and individual entrepreneurs cannot repay. Not because they don't want to, but because they don't have money for that. This is how the Kremlin quickly and effectively destroys Russia's businesses. 10 trillion rubles is equal to two annual budgets of Moscow, or actually 25% of the total federal budget of the Russian Federation. So, how come they did not notice that before? Or maybe they didn't want to? And actually, this may explain the hurry with which Ukraine is pushed to sign an agreement that we wouldn't have agreed to sign back in 2022. So, of course, we will not accept these terms in 2025. Let's discuss now how this 10 trillion rubles can speed up the collapse of the Kremlin and what it means for the Russian war machine. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see Putin in The Hague, subscribe and share these videos to spread the truth and to spread the good news. Recently, the Central Bank of the Russian Federation reported about their losses. And they were surprised, I don't know how is it possible, to discover a time bomb. They lack 10 trillion rubles. I know ruble is ruble, but 10 trillions is actually equal to two annual budgets of the capital of the Russian Federation, or 24% of the Russian federal budget. Actually, this also proves how much money Russian capital eats out of the federal budget. But we're focusing on the loans that Russians cannot pay back. These are small companies, mid-sized businesses, and individual entrepreneurs. For the sake of survival, they took some loans from the Russian banks and now they cannot pay them back. And quickly, this sum reached 10 trillion rubles. And what's interesting, the central bank also provides the information about the spheres from which these companies come. And I'm sure you can guess that the majority of them represent the construction sphere, the metallurgical sphere, and the oil industry. So the Ukrainian drone sanctions, together with your economic sanctions, work well, but we should also highlight Putin's economic mismanagement. Once again, I won't be surprised to learn that the Kremlin has already borrowed also trillions of rubles from ordinary apolitical Russian balances and deposits without letting them know. This is not the first time the Kremlin does something like that, and they did not expect that this war would be so long. Actually, on Anna Danilchuk channel, we have a new video where one of Putin's authors of the annexation of Crimea, the invasion of Donetsk and Luhansk region, spoke about his predictions, and many of them came true, and they lead to the collapse of the Russian Federation. Do watch it. So, the debts of these companies keep growing, and this is in the context of the new 2026 budget, where the Kremlin wants higher taxes for more companies. They increased VAT from 20% to 22%. You may say, not a big change, but I won't be tired to repeat. They changed the threshold according to which Russian individual entrepreneurs and companies have to pay VAT. And this year it was 50 million rubles, and the next year this will be just 10. So thousands of Russian businesses close already, not waiting for this increase because they understand they won't be able to operate. And multiply that by the companies already destroyed with high interest rates, with high rent prices. Lots of Russian shops are closing. In Moscow, 38% of trading spaces in malls are empty because businesses did not survive the blitzkrieg. Thumbs up for that, and remember to subscribe to witness this collapse together. It's unstoppable, no matter how hard some people in the Kremlin, in the White House, on Mars can try. This is irreversible. What's also interesting is that according to the inside Kremlin statistics, 1 in 4 companies with loans have overdue in payments. That is huge. That is a demonstration of huge problems inside different spheres of Russian business. So we may literally say that Putin's blitzkrieg destroyed Putin's economy, Putin's vision of the future of Russia, and now millions of Russians understand that. That's the reason why some hurry to take away their deposits, and also in trillions of rubles they withdraw money from banks. And it's actually funny that a lot of things are measured inside Russia in trillions. First of all, because of the inflation, and second of all, because of the size of the problems they face. Literally, whenever you're talking about the Russian economy, you may use these trillions and it will be okay. Trillions of rubles withdrawn and trillions of rubles lacking in the central bank, with the constantly falling GDP, with the already empty budget, with dozens of Russian regions reporting they don't have money in their local budgets, they don't have money to pay Russian war criminals who joined the army. By the way, there will be a very professional interview on the channel with one of the best experts on Russia's economy that I greatly advise you to watch. It may explain a lot more and in a better way than I do it, because I'm an ordinary person just observing, this very visible red flags inside Russia. But for a deeper understanding, you may check this interview tomorrow, I guess. So, what we see now is that the problems inside the Russian economy keep growing, and we observe this snowball effect. Lack of money in the federal budget, lack of money in the local budgets. Now, a new discovery, and I kind of love it how they say they recently discovered that they lack to budget of Moscow in their banking system, 10 trillion rubles that they have nowhere to take. And with the future of increased VAT, we clearly realize that not only these companies will fail to repay, but more companies will fail to repay, and even more companies and individual entrepreneurs will close their businesses. In Russia, perhaps the only working industry will be the military industry. And this returns us back to the only working peace plan: to demilitarize them, to defeat them, and to protect Ukraine, to protect the Baltic countries, to protect Moldova and Romania, to protect Poland, to protect the European Union, and to protect the United States and Australia and Great Britain. Because if we keep appeasing the evil, if we keep, stimulating Putin, if we praise him with Ukrainian territories and absurd promises, if we undermine the sovereignty, not just of Ukraine, but of NATO as an alliance, then we simply open a Pandora box that leads to the Third World War. And I'm sure that our community of kind, smart, educated people don't want this to happen. So the only way to prevent more wars, more problems, more tragedies is to defeat and demilitarize Russia. And now it's way easier than back in 2022, because Russia is the weakest and the poorest ever. You know that. Please spread the truth. Share these videos, comment, provide your ideas for the next videos, and also follow me on Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Threads, Discord. The links in the description, and the link to our merch shop with new holiday season collection appearing, and it may be a good and meaningful present for yourself or for people you love, but it also helps Ukraine. Remind people about our fight. Remind people about the need to defeat the evil. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, but most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!